Greetings, everyone. Welcome to this full moon forecast for March 2023. We have a full moon in Virgo. We're in the season of Pisces, and I am here to channel a message for us from Mother Earth, for all of us who are on an evolutionary journey. I am Charlotte Alea. I am a new earth priestess, and my work is really about marrying the divine feminine and the divine masculine within all of us. And I am really excited to dive into the energies that are coming forward for us at this time. Some really big energies, actually, which frankly is not surprising because I don't know about you, but I follow a lot of astrologers and they're all talking about all of these incredible planetary shifts that we're moving through. I think right now we have Venus and Jupiter conjunct, and in a couple days, today actually Saturn moves into Pisces. I think that's right. And I think very soon we have Pluto moving into Aquarius. I think that's right. And for me personally, all the astrology language tends to it's hard for it to land within my consciousness. A lot of it sort of like just kind of washes over me. For me personally, I connect really well with card and with the tarot and oracle card energy. When I see symbols on cards visually, that really helps me to integrate what is going on. So I am praying and I am trusting that the messages that are coming through this video for you, that which I am channeling right now, right here, are in harmony and are very much in congruence with everything that is unfolding for us on a cosmic level, because really it all goes back. It's all the same source, right? What is happening for us cosmically reflects what is happening for us internally, reflects what's happening to us cosmically. It's an inner-outer experience all the time. Okay, so if you're new here, thank you for being here. Welcome. I pull 4 cards at the full moon every month for us. First, we look at the lesson that is presenting itself for us. Then we look at the shadow that is emerging. Then we look at the gift that is being offered to us. And then we look at whatever other energies are presenting themselves. And this we call the wild card. I use the Tarot of the Spirit by Pamela and Joyce Eakins. I don't have the box here in front of me. But yeah, it's a beautiful symbolic deck. And for this reading today, I'm actually going to, at one point, give a little excerpt from the book to this fatty book, which you can buy separate from the deck, which is a beautiful deck. A beautiful book that contains really ways of looking at the card images or energies and archetypes from a higher perspective. So this is not your typical kind of Rider Waite accompanying booklet that comes with a lot of tarot cards, which give you very literal translations. So if you're looking for more of a philosophical perspective, this is a really great book to have, even if you do not have this deck. So just a little side note before we go into the cards for this month. I'm sitting somewhere different for this reading. I'm trying out different spots in my home because I'm doing a lot of videos actually nowadays. And I'm trying to find the good spots with good lighting to do videos, and it turns out my house isn't that conducive to it. So it's trying to get creative here. Okay, so let's dive into the cards, shall we? So let's talk about our lesson first. And this is a card, if you have been watching full moon and new moon forecasts of the past 4 months, this is a card that's going to be familiar. We have 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Earth in this deck. It's 8 of Pentacles in a traditional tarot deck. And this card is called the Mountain, which I love this name for this card because it's really about taking in the fullness of what is before us at this moment, which can feel like a lot. It can feel like a lot. And the message of Eight of Pentacles is really about taking it step by step. The way you ascend a mountain or descend into the core of the mountain, because it's always an up and down process at the same time. And that was our message of a few months ago, right? We were descending into the core of the mountain. And now it is more like we are ascending at this point in our journeys, but we take it step by step. So the words that were coming through as I was meditating with this overnight, I like to draw my cards one day before so then I get to dream on them, is vocation and life purpose. So let's talk about those words and take away any ness you might feel with either of those words. So vocation. So this is a word that has been sort of like shifted in our culture in the past, I don't know, many decades. We think of vocational training like learning how to fix cars or training to do a certain specific career, right? And let's look at vocation a little bit differently. Let's look at vocation as work. This is work that we are doing in the world, but it doesn't have to be work that is connected to a paycheck. It is work that gives us meaning, that provides us with a sense of fulfillment, that is purpose, right? It's work that provides us with a sense of life purpose. So this is really coming to the forefront right now for us. And you might be saying to yourself, I have no idea what I want to do. You know, I'm stuck in a boring ass job and I don't really feel like I have any prospects before me. Or you might be really happy in what you're doing, not want anything to shift. So for that, I would say to start noticing what is pinging around you, because there is something emerging. We are coming into early spring, which is the time of incredible growth, incredible energy that is bubbling up within us that wants to move forward and upwards. We cannot stop this energy force because it is universal within all life upon this planet. And so that energy wants to be directed somewhere. And so even if you are feeling stuck in the muck or totally content and happy, and I'm guessing a lot of you watching this are not going to relate to that, are sensing like, yeah, I have this prospect. I'm seeing something clearly in front of me that is feeling so right for me. It feels really right for my next steps. You know, is going to take my career to the next level or take my work in the world into a completely different place, right? Because again, this doesn't have to be connected with income, with livelihood, with the money that you use to sustain yourself. It really, really doesn't. Because when it comes to our vocation in the world and how we serve humanity and our planet, that is actually something often entirely different from how we used to provide for ourselves. Unfortunately, at this time in humanity, when we're between paradigms, we are shifting from an old paradigm to a new paradigm, and it isn't always matching up right now. For some of us, it does, and that is great. Or for many of us, we're just on a journey on how to bring those two pieces together in our lives. And it's not all going to pan out right away. Okay, so I'm saying all this because I'm asking you to shift your mindset of what vocation and life purpose is. It's really about service that fills you to the brim, that you could do all day, that you love. So say you feel like your life purpose is to simply be a presence of love. Okay, so that's something that many of us, and I'm guessing many of you who are watching this, can really relate to. And it's like, okay, so what does that mean in terms of vocation? Because that doesn't seem like there is a lot of work, right, doing. But there is. Because what does that mean for you? What does it mean to be a presence of love? How are you actually being an act of service in that way of being a presence of love? Yes, you can be a presence of love for yourself every day, just tuning into love within yourself. But that's not what this energy is. So it could be, okay, I want to teach about self-love. I want to teach others about the importance of self-love. And so that would be a journey for you to really learn more lessons about self-love for yourself. And that's what's going to be coming to you. Or you might be like, I want to help others move out of codependency and to shift into a different kind of love, a sovereign kind of love. So then you're going to be moving through and learning about the next layers of codependency within your own life and your own relationships, right? That's how it happens. And so if you don't know what this is the message to begin to open to the possibility that signs and signals are going to begin to come and start pinging for you, right? Watch within what is drawing you towards it, where your energy wants to be focused upon. Even if it doesn't feel realistic, it doesn't matter, right? Soul, spirit doesn't care whether something is realistic for you. This is the calling of the heart and the soul, and we're going to talk about that more. So before I go into the other 3 cards, I want to say something funny. So as I was sitting to draw these 4 cards, I was shuffling the cards and I was saying, okay, here's me shuffling the cards. You know, there's a lot of big energies happening right now. It'd be really great if I could get like a major arcana card in this reading. Give me an interesting major arcana card. That's what I was saying to the cards and to Mother Earth as I was shuffling the cards. Well, guess what? The next 3 cards are all major arcana cards. We have 3 in a row. So which is mirroring the big energy shifts that are happening for us right now. And it's a little like, Spirit likes to have a sense of humor. With me, it's like, oh, you want a major arcana card? Here you go. Here's 3. So I have mentioned before in these forecasts that major arcana cards are usually where we like to focus the energy of the reading. And usually there's just 1. Sometimes there's 2, but there's rarely 3. So it's interesting because we can't focus on one of them, right? So all of them are going to come together and weave a story, but I'm giving you a little preview because we're going to talk about this card in a few minutes. But the last card is another 8 card. So 8 energy is kind of our focus right now. Is our focus, not kind of. I don't know why I'm using that word. Is our focus. And 8s are all about flow, right? And so 8 is when we get into a rhythm and things just move on their own. So 8, as you can see, is, if you can picture in your mind, it is also the symbol, the infinity symbol, the lemon skate. And it just continues to cycle and cycle and cycle. And so this is helping us find a new rhythm within our lives. A new way for the energy to move on its own. But the thing is, in order to get that energy going, we need to kind of work at it at first, right? Like if you are riding a bike up a hill or if you're starting a car, it's like you got to get the engine, you have to use some force at first to get the engine, get the momentum going, and then the momentum goes. So right now, we are getting our momentum going. All right, so let's now move into our first major arcana and the shadow energy of this month. The universe. This is the first time we've had this card since I've been doing these readings. So this is the World in other decks, December 21. It is the completion of the Creator, Destroyer, Sustainer triad. It's because it's number 3. So this is a sustainer, right? It is the end. It shows the end and beginning of a new cycle. And it shows us that wherever there is an ending, there is also a beginning. So why would this be coming up as our shadow? So shadow is what is hidden. What is hidden from our consciousness, what we might be pushing away from our consciousness that our soul and highest self wants us to be aware of. So what I received from this card is that this has to do with us either being intimidated by the new ventures that are before us, right? Whatever is calling us into new growth and new cycle, and falling back into old cycles, things that are easy. Yeah, it would just be easier if I did it this way because this is what I know. I can just do what I know rather than doing what we don't quite yet know, because we can't yet know the full mountain, right? Can't be at the top without climbing it step by step. So we might be tempted to go back to old rhythms and patterns in our lives that we've already completed. This might also, and this is sort of the other side of the coin of this, be getting way ahead of ourselves. So considering the task done, like, oh yeah, I'm at the top of the mountain, when really that's a fantasy and we're still at base camp. And so both of these are hiding this sense of nervousness, intimidation, trepidation of the journey itself. They're being fears of and resistance to doing the work of getting there. Because this will be, we know deeper down that any new beginning is going to be a series of personal initiations for us, right? Even though the end result is something that we want to be putting out into the world. The journey is what matters. The journey is a journey of learning about ourselves. How do we learn about ourselves? Through initiation. And as I talked about at the beginning of the year, we're in Chariot year, which is all about learning about ourselves through trial and error. So we are going to mess up. And we have a lot of trickster energy this year. So tricksters come in to initiate us, sometimes in unpleasant and surprising ways. So there is part of us that is resisting that process. And let's honor that part of us. And let's also, however, here's another piece that dropped in regarding this. Tend to any loose threads that may be from past cycles, right? It's okay to give ourselves a little slack. It's okay to revisit our past vocations, our past comfortable flows and cycles, and say, am I really done here? Is there any loose threads that I need to wrap up? Anything final I need to learn? Or do I need to just learn for the zillionth time, not zillionth, 10th, second, third, I don't know, that I am really done with this work, with this cycle, with this vocation? Okay, so let's take a totally different example. This one actually came through my dreams. I don't know why I dreamt this, but I dreamt that I was learning to be a tattoo artist. I had a client in 2 days and I was supposed to give a tattoo for, and I was totally unprepared, right? And tattooing might be something that is so sacred for you. It might be a way for you to deliver your art, your transmissions into the world, onto people's bodies, right? But you wouldn't do that, like you wouldn't have a client come and then the first tattoo you do would be this elaborate thing, right? You start step by step by step. You might be apprenticing with somebody, but we're practicing. So we're practicing on ourselves, we're practicing on others. We are trial and erroring it every day as we simply learn and get better and better and better at what we do, and gradually we ascend that mountain. Learning how to take a step back from the ultimate goal and be present right where we are so we can learn the lessons as they present themselves, and also understand and see that this is not an intimidating process, that we will never be served anything that we're not ready for. And that's what the ego is afraid of. The ego is afraid that it's going to be served things that it's not ready for, when that's not what the journey is going to look like. Okay, let's move on to the third card we have, and this is our gift. How are we gifted with these energies? Here we have the Lovers, number 6. So the gift of this is that we are actually getting to experience what we want, what we have been desiring for so long. And you know what? It can be scary. It can be really scary to actually get what we want. And the reason for that is because most often when we actually get and experience what we've wanted and desired for a long time, it is nothing like how we imagined it would be. So let me step back for a second. So the Lovers is number 6 in the major arcana, and it comes after the Hierophant card, which is the teacher card. And the Hierophant is really about what we have learned so far from inner and outer authority. The Lovers breaks us out of that mold. This is a energy that arises from within, from the womb and the heart, and calls for us to take our own unique direction in life. Okay, so think about how this is like that stage of individuation where you go through adolescence and you learn everything you're supposed to from society and your parents and your teachers and all of that. And then you're like, wait a minute, no, I want to choose this direction in my life. Where, our parents say, you have to marry this person. And then like you say, oh, F you, no, I'm not going to marry that person. And actually I'm gay, and so I'm going to marry someone of the other gender than you expected, So that is the process of individuation, the process of the Lovers. It's choosing to follow your own heart. So we get to choose to follow our own heart. We get to break the molds of who we were. This is exciting. This is juicy. And guess what? We can be really confused in this process. So that is a complication to the Lovers. What I always say to people when they are when they have been through many cycles of karmic relationships, romantic relationships. So they get into a relationship and the same painful, wounding pattern happens again and again and again. Even if they think that they're getting together with somebody who is totally different and they're like, the same thing happened again, right? So what I always say, because this is something I have personally experienced myself earlier in life, before I met my wife Barsha, when I met my wife Barsha, and I have witnessed this happen with many people I know who move out of karmic relationships, the repetition of old wounds, and into a new kind of relationship, is that at first when you meet that person, it is going to feel like nothing you have felt before in dating them, so much so that you're going to be like, who the hell is this person? I don't even understand them. I'm intrigued, but I don't get this at all. It's not necessarily going to feel totally right away, because it's going to feel really foreign because it's something that your mind does not understand. So this energy gets to surprise us. It gets to help our lives unfold in a completely new, different direction. And it keeps us on our toes. So we are literally getting to know ourselves anew through the unique new experiences we are having, the new kinds of relationships we are having, the new types of experiences we are inviting into our lives, which is not in any of those, doesn't cohere to any of those old patterns. I mean, how great is that? And also, it can be confusing. So you might be like, I have no idea if I'm on the right path because this doesn't feel the same. It's nothing I understand. That is the sign that you are exactly where you need to be. If it feels weird and foreign and a little bit uncomfortable, yes, yay, you are breaking the pattern. And there's going to be so many gifts that continue to unwrap through that process. Here's the other thing. This is the other message that came through with this card. Is to, if you're not there yet, because many of us, this is just starting to unfold, right? So we're not yet in the sucking up all the juice from this experience, like flowers blooming, bee is, landed on us, right? We're not quite in that part of spring yet. To continue to hold the vision of what you desire and you want for yourself. To continue to hold that within your mind, your body, and your heart. Have wonderful escapes into fantasy land. I feel like daydreaming is way underappreciated as a pastime. It is a wonderful way of actually manifesting what you desire because you are bringing that energy all through you. And as we begin to get tastes of, right, we see it before us, we see the mountain before us, and we're starting to take steps. We're starting to taste this new journey, and it's kind of scary. Then we keep bringing back those visions, and it's like, okay, it's happening, it's starting. It's happening, it's starting. Okay, I want to keep holding it. Keep holding it. Don't let go of the visions. Don't let go of the desires. Don't jump to the finish line. Because again, we're going to move on to the final card here. The process, the journey is what matters. The process and journey is what matters. Strength. Here we have our wild card, the second number 8, the flow. We actually see the infinity along the jed pillar. So this is representative of this, you can see, this pillar that moves, all this energetic pillar that moves all the way through us from above our crown at our soul star, which is about here. Can't see my hand. You can, yeah, that's where I feel mine. Moves all the way through our center, down through our root, down through our legs, out our feet, and hovers a little bit beneath us within the ground itself. And then we have the serpents. We have the serpents wrapping. And the serpents are this energy that is awakening within us in our sacral chakras. We are animals. We are human, we are animals. And the strength card asks us to tune into our animal natures, not to bypass this physical body that where things are turning on within us because it is responding to the season right now. So we cannot bypass this energy that is awakening within us. The strength card is the marriage between our soul and our body. And it is about learning to master our instinctual animal nature by integrating our soul self with our physical self. How do we do that? We direct our energy. We direct our energy in a specific direction through vocation and soul's purpose, rather than just feeling like this hunger and desire, and I don't know what I want, but I'm just gonna go out and right? That is how this energy can feel explosive. It can feel really wild, which is great. That's great in its own way, and I'm not judging that at all. But if we want to feel like this energy has a purpose and has a direction, we want to tune into it and direct it one way, right? So here we have the two serpents moving together harmoniously up our pillar, out through the crown of our head, down again into the earth. So we have the energy moving in a lemonscape all the way through us. So let me now, there was a beautiful excerpt from the book that I wanted to read. I don't usually do this. This is the first time I've ever done this. Okay. The lesson of Key 8 is place your emphasis on the process of creation as opposed to the product. The essential experience of Key 8 is understanding the jubilation that emerges from allowing the creative force to flow freely. The creative process is the force of spirit moving through the hand of self. Product is static and flat. Product is form which will always be outgrown and cast aside. Form is an empty shell. Force is the breath and the source of life. The force process is the spirit in constant renewal. The focus of force is on beingness. The future is by nature uncertain. The past is no longer. The now is. As the builder of your life and the creator of the reality in which you dwell, deeply consider your process. That's really juicy, huh? So when I was sitting with this card, I was remembering how many times I talked about in December and January of how it was like, yeah, we might be getting intuitive downloads. We might be getting foresight about the next year, but don't move forward yet. It's not time to move forward. We're still digging a hole in the earth. We're still releasing. We're still going into hibernation mode, stasis, letting those seeds germinate. And guess what? The seeds have germinated. We're now bursting. We're coming through the soil. The snake has shed its skin. The snake within us has shed its skin and is wanting to writhe and rise again. So the time is now. The present moment has arrived. The time that we have all been waiting for. Do you all ever get this feeling this time of year, early spring? It's like, this is the moment I have been waiting for months as I, diligently moved through fall and I released and I let go and I cleaned up and I finished loose ends. And then in winter, I diligently meditated and went into my cocoon and rested and I, nourished myself and I had all these plans and ideas, but I was sitting on them and waiting. And now the moment has come to start moving ahead. And now I'm freaked out. Now I'm like, wait, I don't know if I want to start. Oh, my humanity just makes me laugh so much. That we can get intimidated by ourselves. It's like the moment has arrived that we've all been waiting for. And it can feel like a lot of pressure. And so that is why this message is so important, because it's saying that it is a process. It is step by step. We are running a very, very long race, right? This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And really, we do not know what the time frame is for anything, right? We don't know. That is something that we always surrender. We always surrender. We simply ask, what is moving for me today, this day? Not tomorrow, not the next day. What is moving for me this day? Is today a day I take a very meaningful action and step? Am I getting the signals for that? Or is today a day to do some research, do some inner work, tend to some shadows? Or is today a day not to do anything? And so we take it step by step by step. Also, I'm going to mention one more time all these new transits and things that are happening astrologically, because sometimes I can hear all that and it can feel really overwhelming. It's like, oh, okay, so something really meaningful needs to be happening in my life now. Like I start like questioning my own journey, and am I being big enough? Like these energies are huge. Am I huge enough? And so it doesn't have to feel like that every day. I think that we can never really see things clearly until we are at the top of the mountain. After we have a chance to see our journey, we can never really see things clearly when we're in the present moment, because we're just there to experience it. Our mind will try to see things and we'll evaluate it and analyze it and all that, but we're not seeing it clearly. We're not going to see how momentous we have been by being so patient and diligent and persistent until we are at the finish line. And we will all get there. And yeah, again, we don't even know where that finish line is. So enjoy the process. Let's all enjoy the process. Let's all make a commitment in this moment to enjoy the process of our own becoming this spring. Let's fully show up, be fully present for it, be surprised by it, be delighted by it, and yeah, be challenged by it, but let's all agree to laugh through those challenges and cry and connect with others and to know love through this process. All right, that is all for me today. Please watch out for some other videos this month about the Ruby Ray. We are in the Ruby Ray of Grace right now. We have also a podcast called The Evolutionary Androgen. I don't know why I just said we. I have a podcast called The Evolutionary Androgen. The second episode just dropped about a week ago, which is the second half of Inanna's journey, and is all about the return of the divine feminine. So you can go to links below to find that as well. And you can find other fun and exciting things like readings on my website. All right, I will see you very soon. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.